A live stream. We're gonna be doing Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Red Dead Redemption. Let me get my timer started here. But before I begin, I'm gonna do some warm ups, man. It's kind of early, so I'm just gonna kind of like do some circles. I'm gonna do a row of circles here to kind of get like warmed up with just kind of firing the muscle memory per se. So what I'm going to do is just going to do a row of circles, and we'll do two rows of circles. And this is what I usually do. Is I usually do like 10 minutes or 15 minutes of like just warm up stuff before I begin drawing, something to kind of like get me in the drawing mood, I guess, to kind of like to dip my toes in like the water, and that's essentially what it is. It's me getting mentally primed to kind of think spatially. And so it's been like a habit of mine that I've been doing this, and I got it from this I got it from this oh my gosh. Yeah. I got it from the website Draw a Box, and I found it to be particularly useful as a way to kind of get you started, because sometimes there's days that you're like drawing, or you're going to draw, and you're just like, I just don't feel like it, I just don't feel like getting into this. I just don't feel like doing any of this. And so oops, man. And this is the reason why I'm doing this, is because like I'm like calibrating, I'm like calibrating my mind at the moment. I'm not really quite there. So that's why like these lines are not connecting to these dots. It's because I'm just kind of tired and kind of waking up and just kind of like not there yet. I am not like mentally primed to draw. So that's why I initially do these little processes. When I'm not doing a live, I will do the warm-ups for a little bit longer, sometimes 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, but I'm going to keep it at a short 10 minutes because I want to get started on this Arthur Morgan character. And he looks pretty fun, and he looks like he's going to be a challenge. But yeah, I missed a bunch of these lines. I'm not really thinking at the moment. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to connect these dots, and then I'm going to do a plus sign, and I'm going to make an ellipse that's going to fit in these little sheets of paper that I made, essentially. And then I have about 6 minutes left, and then by then I'll flip this sketchbook over, and I will start to draw Arthur Morgan. And I'm not going to say it's going to be better, but at the very least, it fills up the space of an empty sketchbook of the backside of a drawing. Or if you can see, this is a behind another page, and it's all crinkly, And I don't know if you know this, but it sucks drawing on paper that is like crinkly. It's not fun. So to give the backside of this sheet of paper like a second use, I think is good. So it gives it a second like life, as opposed to, I guess I could draw on top of it. Like I could draw Arthur Morgan on the back of this paper. I could, but I wouldn't like it because I just don't like drawing on a surface that's like uneven. It's just kind of like just wiggling and crinkling around. And so you don't want to do that. And so I'm going to be doing just some warm-ups on this page for about 5 more minutes. I'm almost done. But you might like to do this as well. You could do some of the symbols and just fill up the entire page with circles, you know. And I know these aren't even that good. I'm kind of I'm rusty. I haven't done these warm up exercises for quite some time. But you might find that doing warm up exercises kind of gets you mentally prepped and primed for the act. You know, it's like when you go to the gym and you don't want to be there. Actually, that's just me. And you have to kind of like find a way to kind of ease into the act of physical activity. And for some people, that act could be like, wow, that act could be like, it could be like, what could it be like? Some people would do like just a little bit of go on the treadmill or the bike elliptical machine, or some sort of like do some cardio, some light cardio to kind of get started, something to kind of dip their toes in, you know, and then once you kind of dip your toes in, you're like, well, might as well start working out, I guess. And then some people would, the act of starting would be just, well, maybe I just walk inside the gym, and that's like half my battle. Like once I walk in the gym, I'm like there. I might as well start, you know. There's also like writers, what they do. I've heard some writers, what they do is they don't like writing, you know. So what they'll do is they'll sit down, they'll have an office, or they'll have a room that they do their writing in, and what they'll do, gosh, I'm like, is they don't necessarily feel like writing at any given time. So what they'll do is they'll sit down in that office or in that writing room at like 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Like that is when they write, you know. They'll sit down and they'll start writing, or no, they'll sit down in their office from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, and they won't do anything. They'll have their like either the pad of paper or their typing machine or their computer that has only like Microsoft Word, doesn't have like anything else. Maybe it's not even connected to the internet, and they'll turn it on, and they will either sit there until they feel like typing, or they'll sit there and they won't do anything for the hour. So they'll sit there, and if they get to writing, they write, and if they don't, they don't. But they set out the time to write. You know, they set out the time to write, and that is a kind of like setting yourself up for like success, you know? And so that's what you're doing. And that's what this is like kind of setting myself up. Obviously, though, I am not like sitting down and staring at the sketchbook for like an hour. I don't have that luxury to kind of like just sit there and like wait to feel like I'm ready to draw, you know? I just have to like sit down and start drawing, whether I feel like drawing or not. And that's usually a lot of the times. Like I don't feel like drawing right now. Actually, what I feel like drawing for like the next 20 minutes, I feel like just sitting down and drinking coffee, and not doing anything for a minute. Like, cause I just kind of gather my senses. That's what I want to do, is I want to gather my senses. And right now I don't have that luxury. So I have like 40 seconds, and I'm going to flip this sketchbook over. I'm going to start drawing Arthur Morgan for Red Dead. As I recall, the person wanted me to draw Arthur Morgan because he wanted me to draw like a realistic character, and I just didn't want to do it. So I found like a cell shaded drawing of him, or image of him, and I'm just gonna use that as my source. source material for the image. Oh my gosh. But I want to, before I begin that, I want to at least finish this cube. And then we'll begin. That's what we'll do. We'll begin and finish this cube and begin after that. I think that's fine enough. These always kind of, what happens is like, something always comes off awry, but anyways. So there we go. I think that is that. Now let's go and flip the drawing paper around. Boom. Okay. I'm going to draw right in this area, I think. Now, actually, we're going to draw a little closer. We're going to draw like right here. And then what I might do is like I might end up, I might just do it like this, draw like this right here, because it's closer to me. And I have problems when I do a drawing that's higher up on the paper. And unless it's a simple character, it just gets distorted. So this one, I'm going to start off by maybe drawing. I don't like drawing small. I just don't. Just drawing like something that looks like a hat. Draw some lines here. Draw this, cut the head in half, and then you do that like I forgot what this stands for. I don't know. I know this stands for like the center of the head, but I don't know if this stands for the eye line or the eyebrow. Or this might stand for the eyebrow. I don't know. I think it's the eyebrow right here, and then like this is where your eyes are at or something, and this is supposed to stand where like close to where your nose ends. I need to get very familiar with the structure, doing the structure. So like you end up drawing a circle, you end up drawing a circle and you cut that circle in half, right? And this is supposed to represent, I think, the top of the eyebrows or something like that. And then you cut it in half again, and then that's supposed to be like where the eyes are at, eyebrows. And this is supposed to be either where like the nose kind of close to where the nose ends, And then there's another whole other thing going. I always get kind of lost when I draw the head. I really need to. I need to like study these head structure formats so that I know it like the back of my hand. So I can just kind of like regurgitate it to anyone that's wondering, because I'm not really familiar with like structures of the head. I'm not really familiar with like where you need to break down everything, because each person's head is different. Like people's eyes and nose and ears and mouths are all placed different on the head of the face. And so you can't always depend on that. But I digress. So I'm just going to draw some fluff here. And we'll see how it comes out, All right. I think we're getting somewhere. I think I have I don't know if I have a strong structure, but I think I have enough to kind of work with regards to this character. So we're just going to kind of draw some lines here. Honestly, another thing that I suck at is I need to sit down and I need to practice fabric. Like I need to practice fabric. I am not good at drawing fabric. Like it is like I'm okay at it. You know, I can render it, but like you ever see those artists that like just draw fabric that looks like so natural, you know? It looks so natural. You know, and I just can't get it. Or I can't do it well. Or I don't know. I just need to sit down and come up with like a game plan on how I can do that. And that's something I've been pondering. And you know, but I'm not in like the life position to just like I'm not single, so I can't just like, hey, I guess on my days off I can just draw all day long. You know? So that's what you can do when you're single, or if you don't have any obligations, you know, you can like pursue your passions with a vigor that you can't do if when you're basically you're a grown up or well, if you're a parent essentially. So but if you're a parent and you struggle to make the time to draw, I understand. I don't know if I'm going to do a good job with this guy. We'll see. We'll see. I'm trying, but that doesn't seem right. Okay, let's do some lips here, and then it'll look a little bit different. I'm just trying to like navigate how I want to pursue like his facial hair. And then trying to also navigate with this drawing or this image. It's kind of like cell shaded. So, it's going to Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption. So it's like cell shaded. So like, do I want to copy the cell shading, or do I want to kind of like just do like a simplified version of his hair, you know? Now, let's go ahead and try to get these eyes in place and see what we can do here. He's kind of squinting, so I gotta put that in there. And then his eyebrows are they're like really going down on his face. They're like right on his eyes. Like he's really scowling. You know, he's making a very serious scowling face. And so we gotta give him a serious scowling face too. And I think I made his nose a smidge too big. So we're gonna trim that down. I did that a little bit right there. And we're going to move some lines here and there. And then we're going to make an upward line like this. And what I'm overemphasizing it in this drawing, but what I'm doing is a little rule of thumb that you can do is like on the face, sometimes like the edge of the nose lines up with where the eyes kind of start, or relatively close. So what I do is that's what I typically do is like I make a little measuring line and I do that. Now I overemphasized it here. And that's going to be just what it's going to be. Like, can't do anything about that now. But typically when you're doing that, you use like a pencil or using like charcoal, and you're able to erase that measuring line afterwards. But I can't do that. But if you are drawing, you will probably be able to do that, because you will be using pencil or charcoal or a digital drawing device, you know. And if you're doing that, then you will have the option of removing those measurement lines. So whenever I talk about measurement lines, it's me using vertical and horizontal lines that refer or that reference other areas of the body. In this case, the face, and I'm using that as a guide to determine where my where the facial landmarks are. Okay, so Now the next thing is I got to get the brim of his hat. Kind of goes down like this. You know, it's probably not that long, but at least I wanted to get like where the brim of the hat kind of starts, and that way I know where the eyebrows kind of end. You know, so that's kind of good. We're gonna add some marks here, and the edge of his hat really probably ends like right here, and then the edge of his hat probably ends like right here on this side. So like maybe here and here feels like where the end of his hat is at, because I'm using I'm using the information I have established so far, like his shoulder blades. I haven't really done much of his information here, but like what I've put here is enough to kind of give me a gauge of like the width of the hat, although it still feels a little wide on this side. But that's fine. All right, so we got that. Now let's go ahead and start by these eyes. I can't tell if I can zoom in. This photo is a zoomer. That helps a little bit. Maybe it might help too much. All right, so this photo is pretty big, so that's going to help me out with some of the details that I'm missing, because some of the things I didn't see. So let's go ahead and add some of those details, or try to. Now, there's good and bad things that can happen from having a photo that has a lot of information, a lot of details that you can work from. The good thing is you can see the details that you need to see to draw the image. The bad thing is you can see those details that you need to see to draw the image, because maybe you don't want to draw all that information, right? Maybe you want to draw only a little bit of it. And if you can see everything, there's this inclination to kind of like draw all of it. And you don't have to draw all of it. So that's one of the things that kind of happens, is that if you have access to all this like visual information, and what I'm saying by access to visual information, what I mean is detail. Like whenever you look at a drawing, you're like, oh, look at all the details. That's what I mean. Like that's visual information to me. That's like the word for it. You know, look at all the details. Look how detailed this drawing is. And that's essentially what I'm talking about. So it's not always good to have a lot of details in your drawing. I think what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start like alternating between doing a blue pen drawing and like a black pen drawing, because every time I start with like a blue pen drawing, I start out with a blue pen drawing in the anticipation that I am going to overlay like my drawing with black pen as details, but I end up not doing that. I end up just keep drawing with like the black pen or the blue pen, and I just never get to the black pen. And so what I might have to do is I'll just alternate between using a black and blue pen. That's what I'm gonna have to do. Just how it is. So this is looking pretty good. Mainly because I was able to zoom in on the photo, so I'm able to see more closely where some things begin and end. And as I said, that's very helpful if you know how to use it. If you have too much information and you're trying to learn how to simplify things as an artist, it can be very hard to navigate through that. So, but for me, it's good to have some of this information available to me. Although there's some circumstances where like I'm like, this is too much. I don't need all this information. It's making the drawing worse for me, and I don't want that to happen. So I will often, there'll be times where like I have an image that has too much going on. Like we're talking like an image that is like an 8K or 4K, and it's been auto enhanced by AI, where they add add all this new information on it, and you're like, I don't need all this detail. This is too much to work with. This is a bit much. So if there's an image that has all that stuff, extra stuff, I'm like, I don't need that. I need a detailed image. I need an image with a lot of information, but I don't need an image that has every pore to that face. Although you have some artists that will draw every pore to a face, and I don't need to be drawing every pore to a face. I just don't need to. Let's go ahead and get like at least the shape of the hat in there, so it doesn't look like he's just sitting with nothing on top here. So I've established like we're going to do like the shape of a hat here. I always kind of bomb these actually. So the hat begins right around at the edge of the what do you call it, like the hair, like right at his ear on the side here. Hey, you got it, Arthur Morgan. Well, then if you know by just what's happening here, then I've succeeded. Like if it's, you're doing a good job at the drawing if you haven't even finished the drawing, the person like snaps, Arthur Morgan. Yeah. I don't think I'm getting the hat right, but so now that I got the hat here, I think I need to make the sides. I don't know, the sides are not that the length of these the side of hats are not that far actually. So I'm just going to keep it like that for now, and then we may or may not. I messed up. Look at all that. Like, that's a mess up right there. All those lines I made there. That's a bad mess up. So we're going to go ahead and just do something like this. Boom. I think that's good enough. And then the back side of the hat goes like that. Something like that. And then maybe this side just kind of curls like that. Okay, I think that's good enough. Have a sip of coffee. And then we'll keep on cracking. So I don't know how much of the hat I'm going to do. I think I got, see, this is what happened. I think the hat, this hat's going to drive me nuts. I don't know how high the hat is. I don't know. So like I have some doubts on the width of the hat. It really is, it's around where the ears are at. So his ears are like right here. So it kind of does something like that. And perhaps I don't have the ears correct. And maybe the top of the hat's too wide, or maybe it's the part of the shade. There's not any shading here, or any more information up here to kind of determine like what's happening on the hat here. So that might be part of it. There's a lot of little factors here that I'm not taking into account that could kind of, I don't know, sway me. And maybe this part needs to go a little bit farther out. I don't know. I'm not really good with hats either. So like putting hats on people's heads, not my skill set. I keep saying that this is my skill set, and really what it boils down to is this is just not what I do. I'm not like, I just don't do character. And I don't know. I just do a bunch of, I'm like an artist, but like, I don't have like an artist's voice, I don't have like a style. Like, I don't have it. And it's kind of frustrating saying that. Like, maybe like, I felt like in high school I had like a style, I had like a general theme of what I like to draw, But now I just don't. I don't have any I didn't get the ears right. Anything that kind of defines my work as an artist, I don't really have it anymore. And that's kind of, I don't know how I feel about that. Anyways, let's go ahead and get his hairline in here. Something like that. If I can get the bottom of the face kind of rendered or something, I think that'll be a good drawing. If I can get that in there, because right now, as it stands, it's just going to be a minute before I get anything substantial in the drawing. But it's turning out pretty good, so I'm not too worried. I think I made some pretty good progress, even for even since I did like a warm up drawing. Like I did some warm ups before I started this actual drawing, and I'm surprised I'm as far as I am right now. As I shouldn't be this far, actually, because I'm a pretty slow artist. I'm just pretty slow at doing like things or adding information. But what happens is, like, I may be really slow at adding information, but I'm consistent with. I'm drawing Arthur Morgan from Red Dead the Redemption. But what makes my drawings typically go fast is not necessarily because I'm a fast at drawing. It's because I'm constantly adding information to it. I'm constantly adding stuff to the drawing, and that's what you need to be doing, especially when you're new to drawing or you don't know what to do with your drawing. Is you just need to be adding information to the drawing, whether that information is correct or not. You need to be adding stuff to it, because adding that information will kind of give you like a guideline per se of what you need to be adding next. Because sometimes you're like, I don't know what to do. I'm overwhelmed with how much stuff I need to draw. I'm just overwhelmed. And so what I typically do is I just start adding stuff. Because honestly, I am usually overwhelmed with a lot of my drawings because I don't know where they are going or where I need to be moving. I don't know the outcome. And not knowing that outcome can be like kind of disconcerting, It can be kind of scary. And so that's why I typically will keep adding information until I feel like the drawing is stable enough that I can kind of slow down and move the drawing forward in a more of a calculated manner. But if you're like wondering, like, what do I need to do next? What do I need to do next? Well, you just need to keep adding stuff until the drawing starts forming into something cohesive. Because if you just think about like what you need to draw on your drawing, you could be thinking till the cows come home, because you could be thinking like, okay, what if I do this? What if I do that? And you don't want to be thinking like that, because you never know. Like, what if I make a mark right here or right here? Well, what if you don't do that mark? What if you don't shade it this way? You won't know. You just got to do it. You have to be very active in your drawing making, your art. You have to constantly be moving. I'm not saying you can't think critically about the drawing as you're working on when you're working on it, but you're going to have to kind of stop and or you're going to have to sit down and kind of work through that. But you have to be working on it at the same time. So I can't just stop at this drawing and like think about, okay, what am I doing wrong with this drawing? Well, I know there's a few things wrong. Like, I don't know, like the space of this hat, the top of this hat feels maybe a little too squat, or is it not tall enough? I don't know yet. I could adjust it, or I could just think about how tall this hat is in relationship to each other. And, well, I won't know until I change it. But I'm not going to change it at this point, because I feel like it's good enough. It's good enough to kind of work with. I think what I did though is I made his face a little narrow, you know, like he's a little bit more he's got a stronger jawline than I'm giving him. He's got a more manly jawline than what I've rendered him. So I got to give him a little bit more of a manly jawline because he's got like facial hair and stuff. So I'm gonna put that on there, and then yeah, I think that'll do for now. You know, this right here is a little something, and then we're gonna add some lines like that, make them kind of rough because they're kind of rough in the drawing themselves, you know. It's looking pretty good now. Let's go ahead and add like some shading underneath his eyes here, and another one like some shading underneath his eyes on this side. And let's go ahead and add some like scruffy, like scowling marks here. His nose, I might be undervaluing his nose. Like his nose might be, again, I might be making it too small. I think I made it too, at one point I thought I made it too big, but now I think I made it too small. So I think I might need to expand his nose a little bit. Just a little bit. This side feels about fine, but maybe this side. Like that. And then we're going to go ahead and kind of, where there's the top of so the top of the nose kind of curls up this high, I think, relatively, kind of, sort of, something like that. And then we're going to go ahead and do something like this. And then this side, the other nose kind of tilts down a little bit. Again, I always struggle with this. So I'm like you, man. If you're an artist and you struggle with like noses and eyes and all kind of stuff, I do too. Like, even though I can do them fairly well, I'm not saying they're not bad, but I do have my struggles. Oh my gosh, almost like 5,000 likes. Jeez Louise. Someone's like Axel. Someone's like yeah. Someone's doing like a like tapping on the screen like crazily. That's awesome. No, it'd be cool. It'd be cool if TikTok like paid on the amount of likes that a live stream was having. You know, that would be great. I could make a living off of doing art requests. That would be the coolest thing ever if I made a living. Oh man, I could show my dad now. Like, oh look, it's like, why are you drawing live online? Dad, I'm making $5,000. I'm making $5,000 every live I do. Like, and then they'd be like, and then your dad would be like, son, keep doing those lives. Ah, man. Every parent's gonna be like, why are you pursuing being trying to be an influencer on these platforms? Why don't you be a doctor and an engineer? Go be an engineer. Go be a doctor. Go be a lawyer. Blah, 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 blah. You know, they never said that to me, but there are parents that are like that. So, but anyhow, I think I'm going to need to kind of darken up his eyes a little bit. Just a little bit. There we go. 5.7K likes. Oh my gosh, I am on a roll. Now we're going to go ahead and shade right here. I missed something here, and then there's some shading that needs to go right here. I'm being a little bit, I'm not going to lie, I am being semi-aggressive with how I'm adding the shading, because I want to kind of get the drawing not done, but like I want it to have a sense of completion, you know, and so I have to kind of work at that. Let's let's go ahead and add his very, very rough beard, or at least the shape of it. And we're going to add some like marks here underneath his nose. That's going to kind of signify like a rough version of his facial hair, you know? And we're going to do the same thing. Yeah, I really didn't give him a lot of space underneath his mouth, on his chin here. Like, I need a lot more underneath, area-wise, because, yeah, so I kind of this is what I usually do. I always do this. Either I have too much space on top, or too little space on the bottom, or too much space on the bottom and too little space on the top. So, like, I don't get the spacing right. I always do this. And then what happens is I try to course correct, and then when I course correct, it gets worse. Like, I add too much, it just doesn't look right. Like, I add too much area on all of it. So I need to make this a little bit bigger. And so something like that. I think that's a little bit better. Like, I've added some space for his chin, and then we let's see here. I think that's okay. We're just adding some simple little like angular marks to kind of represent where I see. Looks like he has a handkerchief right here around his neck, but it's highly stylized from the artist that did this. So, which is kind of nice. It makes it kind of simple for me to kind of work with. And we're gonna go ahead and add something like this. Beep, beep, beep. And then we're gonna. There we go. I think that's good. Looking good. Everything looking pretty decent here. There we go. Now have a sip of coffee here, and we're at 7.9K. I don't know what's the highest amount of likes I've had, but I don't know if I ever gotten to 20. I don't remember. I've gotten high, but not like ridiculously high, you know. And I say ridiculously high because, you know, there's some people that like get like they get close to, they're getting around 500K likes or 1 million likes. And I remember watching some lives, and some of these lives were like, they would threaten to leave the live if they didn't get a certain amount of likes. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, if I don't get 500K likes in the next 10 minutes, I am going to leave the live. I am leaving. I'm getting out of here, you know? Yeah. They're like threatening the crowd. Like, if I don't get another 10K likes, it's over. I need 5,000 more likes before I leave. Like, what are you doing? What does it matter? And it's so funny. I didn't watch long enough to see if they actually followed through, you know? But I found it very fascinating that's what a thing that people do, is they kind of like hold their viewers hostage for likes, you know? I'm like, are you holding these viewers hostage? Are you saying that if you don't get this many likes? I remember for a minute there was like the Miles Morales guy that was doing like the Spider-Man, Miles Morales guy doing Spider-Man, and he do like do they still do the NPC character stuff? Is that still a thing where they're like, you give them a gift and they like I don't know, they do something, they like do an act, you know? Do they still do that, or is that like, that was real popular for like 6 months? And do they still do that? Anyways, I remember watching that, and there was screenshotted or video recorded him like flipping out. He's like, I see like 20,000 people in here, or 10,000 or 5,000 people in here. I need more. Send me more galaxies, or press that like button. And he was flipping out. He went out of character because he was pissed off or something. He's like, I need to buy a new Lambo. He didn't say that, but I'm pretty sure he was probably going to buy like a Lambo or something. He's like, I need a new Lambo. Anyways, yeah, it's turning out okay. I don't know if I'm not going to say it looks like a great version of this character, but I think I'm doing a pretty good job. Although it's not as popular as before. Yeah, I just don't. I think it had a shelf life on it. But I remember watching one. One was really good. One was like a duet. They're like, it was two people that worked in simpatico with each other. They would do the same thing together. So they're like a combined NPC character thing, and it was really good. And I was like, because that was actually challenging, like that they worked together. I can't believe that they spent like hours and hours doing that. I'm gonna be honest with you, like doing that is, if you did that, that's hard. That's not easy. Like, it's easy to some people. It was like easy money, they were making like lots of money, hand over fist, right? But like, to do that, I can see it being very challenging, and like, I can see how you can not want to do that for an hour or 3 hours. Like, what was that lady? Pinky was that lady. She was always holding like a kernel of popcorn in her, in a hair iron, 10.k likes, guys. If I don't get another 50k likes within the next 5 minutes, I'm out of here. This guy's not getting finished. Actually, I will be out of here in 12 minutes. In 12 minutes. In 12 minutes, because I gotta get going. But so if I leave, it's not because of that. Because of the likes, I just gotta go. I gotta go. I have to leave. I can only do these lives at like a certain amount of time. I could do like an hour live without being interrupted, or getting in trouble. I'm not saying getting in trouble, but like without it. Yeah, I'm getting in trouble. No, I'm not getting in trouble. It's like, I just have other things I have to do, and I just can't do them all day long. I'd like to. That'd be kind of cool. If in a perfect world, I would be able to do, I'd be making a living just drawing, doing live streams. That would be pretty cool. That'd be sweet, dude. Hey, thanks, man. I'm glad you liked it. Appreciated it. But yeah, it'd be really sweet if I could just like do this full time. I could say, hey, I gotta go to work. You're like, what are you gonna do? Oh, I'm gonna go just log in on my internet platforms and on my social media platforms and just draw art requests. Just take an art request and just draw it. You make a living off that? Like, yeah, I do. That's crazy, isn't it? But you can make the argument like it's crazy that people can make a living just saying stuff online now. Like, you don't have to be on like these. You don't have to be. I don't know. I don't know why. It's just really cool that you can do that. That's a thing now. But it's, people get value out of it, and that's really cool. And I really like that idea. And, it's it's a good escape. I think it is. I don't know. I could be wrong. Jeez Louise. Let's see here. Underneath this brim of hat here, we're just going to go ahead and add some shading, or not even shading, just going to make a dark spot right at the hat. Something like this. So this is from there we go. That did it. So I'm just kind of like scribbling an area that should be like dark. So I'm basically scribbling this area that's going to give the hint of it, like it's just a darker area, you know, on the drawing, or on the face, on the drawing. What am I saying? I don't even know, man. Jeez Louise, I'm making a fool of myself. Jeez Louise. Golly gee. All right. And let's go ahead and let's add some just like some dark tones right here or something. Kind of looks like so it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just gonna darken this up real quick, just to kind of show that it's darker. Obviously darken, like to show that it's darker, I'm going to darken up real quick. For those that don't know what that means. No, I'm not doing it perfect, although I'd like for it to be like really dark. But since I'm running low on time, I have to kind of make some shortcuts, if you know what I mean. But I think I've done maybe, oh no, I'm messing up with the hat. Oh, I'm messing the hat up so bad. I need to get, I'm not giving enough of the top of the hat, or the brim here. I think that's part of one of the things the reason why it looks like that. We're going to go ahead and do like just some scribbles. Oops, some scribbles here. Oops, need to go a little farther out. Oops. I'm doing a lot of oopsies. We're just going to add something here. Going to do a little bit of scribbles right here. I want to get like at least the face, and then the hat kind of like semi-done, I guess. That's what I want to do. If I could do that, that'll be a win in my drawing today. You know, at least that's what I think. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I just need it to kind of work together. So if it's a little sloppy, like what I'm doing right now, I think that's fine. And I think that works just fine. All right. So there we go. There's that. Let's draw some coffee. I had a drink of coffee. Let's drink some coffee, and then let's go ahead and get some of the hair behind his chin here. I'm going to give him some more the hair down, his facial hair, like his mustache kind of curves down that way a little bit. And there's some elements of, I don't know, there's some elements down here that need to be darker. I think, maybe not. And let's go ahead and do something like that. But underneath the nose, this is really dark on this left side here. So If you watch this from the beginning, there's a line that I drew here to show the connection between the eyes. You can barely see it now. It's still there, but it's not fully gone. It's still there, but it's kind of been muted per se. Now he's got all this like hair, but it's very scruffy. So I don't know how I want to like render it at this point, but we're gonna have to draw it. It's gonna have to be done. So I'm just gonna draw like, I never really like doing this, but some people do. Always felt weird kind of adding like little bitty lines to kind of signify strands of facial hair or strands of hair, you know? Always felt weird doing that. So that's fine. We're just going to go ahead and continue on and do that on the side here. Yeah, that kind of works. Yeah. That's what we need to do here, see? We need to do something like this. Looking good. There we go. Looking good, dude. Feeling good, dude. All right. Let's go ahead and do like some simple lines here to kind of add some block shading. Add some block shading underneath the face here. A little block shading, kind of like just blocking out the shading right here so that it looks a little bit more realistic. Not realistic, but like it just captures the face better, I guess. So technically I have 3 minutes here, but I'm going to spend a little bit more extra time kind of dialing in some of the details. Not because I necessarily... Does he have a scar on his chin? Does he have like a scar? It looks like he has a scar on his chin that's kind of concealed with facial hair, you know? So I'm going to add some more value underneath in some of these areas, like so. And we're going to keep doing something like this. Just kind of adding like squiggly lines, scribbles, essentially, to kind of, yeah, we're just adding scribbles. That's essentially what it is. To kind of signify like facial hair. And the image that I'm deriving it from is pretty, it's pretty like artistic. It's got a lot of, they're using a lot of special, what'd you call it, like art brushes, digital art brushes to make these effects that are very cool. So there's that. Kind of looks like Clint Eastwood, actually, from that old movie. Yeah, man, you're going at it, man. You're gonna get cramps. You don't need to be doing that. You don't need to be hitting that like button. You can take a break, dude. Take a break. Drink some coffee or drink some orange juice. Grab a glass of water. Grab some milk or something. Yeah, that's not necessary, man. Just kind of send out your 2 cents. You know, say what you want to say. But it's looking good. I think it's I'm not saying it's done, but I could at this point, because I only have 40 seconds left, be content with it being unfinished, you know? Because yeah, but what I like to do is at least get, we're gonna try to get the facial hair in, at least in a fashion that I think works. It's kind of hard because the facial hair is like this. The whiskers on this are they're not consistent. So I can't just like add a bunch of like lines. I have to kind of be a little bit more reserved, I guess, with the mark making when I'm doing it. But I think it's turning out pretty good. Let's go ahead and add some right there. Some dark tones underneath the nose, maybe. Something like that. I think I'm undervaluing the tones underneath here, like that. Just do something like that real quick to kind of add like a tone, something like that. And we got something. So I think this turned out pretty good. It's turned out really good. Not the greatest, but it turned out really well. I think I'll kind of just add a little bit of shading here. Oh my gosh, I can keep going with it. It's just one of those drawings that you can kind of like still add little bitty touches here and there because it's got like a bunch of random information that you can kind of like you can interpret differently each time, and so that's what I'm trying to do, is trying to add some of that stuff, those little details that are kind of popping up as I'm looking at the drawing more and more, is adding these little bitty details or little bitty hints of the drawing, or trying to make it kind of come to life a little bit more. Whether or not that's working is subjective, but So I'm getting close. I want to kind of stop so I can go ahead and have some more coffee because my coffee cup is empty now, and I need another hotter upper. I need more coffee. I don't need it. I want it. I want more coffee is what I'm trying to say. All right. Let's see here. I think I'm going overboard on. I can't really tell where his chin ends and begins. You can kind of tell when you look at the camera, but when I'm looking in person, I'm having a hard time telling where the back of his bottom of his chin is. And there's some dark areas underneath here that they're kind of like this. Maybe I can just kind of darken it up a little bit, and maybe that'll like kind of define his chin some more, or define like where his chin is in relation to like his face. There you go. I think that's kind of working. Now let's go ahead and we're going to just quickly add something like this, some shading here. And then we're going to add some kind of semi-wavy lines, there we go. And then we're going to go ahead and just going to have something like this, just do something like that. And this is all going to be black because we're all going to be just a dark tone. We're just going to mass it out real quick. Nothing really special. We're going to keep it kind of like rough and grungy, like this. Keep it rough and grungy like this. Trying to go quick to kind of keep that like rough aesthetic, you know? And I think just kind of overlay some of these lines again. And bada bing, bada boom. There we go. Yeah, that turned out pretty good. Yeah. For sure. Alrighty. So, for anyone that is interested, does anyone have a character request or an art request that they would like me to draw in the future? I'll give you all like a minute or two to kind of put it in the chat here while I kind of just play around with the dark tones. So if you have anything that you want to be seen, if you want seen drawn in the future, speak now or forever hold your peace, essentially. Dean Winchester from oh my gosh. You want okay. Dean Winchester from Supernatural. I'm not really I'm not really a realistic guy, a person who likes to draw realistic people, but I will. I do it because I'll do it because because it's a challenge. There you go. Supernatural, Dean Winchester. There we go. Thank you so much. But I have got to get going. I want to get some more coffee. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the likes. Appreciate you all. You all rock. Cheers.